Silent Hill Origins for the PSP. This game has the potential to creep the living crap out of you. If you want some crazy goosebumps, just hop on. A prequel to the very first Silent Hill game, released originally on the PSP way back in 2007. This survival horror game follows the story of a trucker named Travis Grady, who has a troubled past and suffers from frequent nightmares. Driving past Silent Hill as a shortcut, he almost ends up hitting a girl. Out of concern, he ventures out to investigate and eventually ends up at a burning house, where he rescues a badly burned girl from the fire, after which he loses consciousness and wakes up in the town of Silent Hill. He decides to find out whether the girl he rescued from the fire has survived or not. And with the concern for the girl, his journey begins from Alchemilla Hospital. Along your way through the story, you're gonna run into several characters from the very first Silent Hill game, like the nurse Lisa Garland, Dr. Michael Kaufman, and Delia Gillespie, mother of the girl whom you rescued from the fire. And during this journey, you are also gonna be unlocking Travis's repressed memories from his childhood. You're gonna be fighting monster forms of Travis's parents. You are also gonna run into a monster called the Butcher that has been slaughtering other monsters. Throughout the story, you're gonna be following this girl whom you almost ended up hitting with your truck in the beginning of the game. She won't say a word to you, but following her, you are gonna be collecting pieces of an unknown artifact. After collecting all of the pieces, you're gonna assemble them to form the Floros, an artifact which contains a trap demon and can also be used to amplify thoughts. And at the very end of the game, you're gonna be fighting this very same demon which is trapped inside the Floros. The story is actually fantastic, and you're gonna be uncovering a lot of secrets about the cult of the Silent Hill. It features multiple endings based upon your actions, and the good ending actually ties really nicely into the first Silent Hill game, which is really cool. Gameplay involves a third-person perspective with emphasis on combat, exploration, and puzzle solving, just like all the past games in the Silent Hill series. The deserted and foggy town of Silent Hill is enough to disturb anyone, but the highlight of all the Silent Hill games is the Dark World, or the Otherworld version of Silent Hill Town. And you have to go there in this title as well in order to get your hands on keys and objects needed to solve puzzles. And the travel between the two versions is possible through the use of mirrors. By putting your hands on a mirror, you can travel to the other world. Actions performed in one dimension will affect the other. Travis carries a flashlight, which is really helpful as there is a ton of really dark areas in this title, especially in the Dark World version or Otherworld version of the town. And then this flashlight also helps you by indicating the direction of any usable items present around you. And you also have a portable radio on you that alerts you to the presence of nearby enemies by emitting static. Combat features some decent variety, from the ability of using your fists, which was actually for the first time in the series that you could go for unarmed combat. Then you have melee weapons which break after a certain amount of usage, and then you have throwable stuff which does a lot of damage but is one-time use only. And then finally you have firearms, from pistol to double barrel shotgun to assault rifle, but the ammo is really scarce, so it is actually better to save up for the big boss fights and not waste ammo on less threatening enemies. The game also features a grapple system where an enemy can actually grapple you, and it will trigger a quick time event, and if you complete it successfully you can avoid taking damage. And yeah, there is no heads up display in this title, no HUD at all, so when your health is low, your screen edges are gonna throb red and your heartbeat can be heard, which makes this title so much more immersive and heart pounding. Then the monsters. Along the monster bosses that I've already mentioned earlier, like the monster forms of Travis's parents or the Butcher, this title features an amazing roster of really scary monsters, such as the nurses, the straitjackets, the remnants, the carrions, the aerials or mannequins, the Calibans and two-backs. Some of the monsters can be found throughout the game world, while others are exclusive to particular areas. Like the nurses, they are exclusive to the hospital and the sanitarium, while the aerials or mannequins, they are exclusive to the theater. As you progress through the story, more dangerous monsters such as the carrions, the Calibans, and the two-backs start to roam the streets of Silent Hill, making traversal even more challenging. All these monsters have different attack patterns. Some will try to pummel you, while others, like the nurses, they are gonna try to stab you, while the straitjackets are gonna try and grapple you as well as use projectile attacks and stuff like that. So it's really important to learn their behaviors and attack patterns. The enemy design is fantastic. All these monsters, they look really menacing, and the bosses, they are scary as hell. And the butcher, man, he looks really, really scary. He's like the pyramid heads, and he acts just like him. And he has a big ass butcher's knife with him, and he's like always on the berserk mode. This title is super atmospheric, like the deserted and foggy look of the town is always gonna make you feel uncomfortable. And then as soon as you hear the static on your radio, you're gonna start looking for a direction to run in order to save your life. The sound design is top notch, and it really nails the feel that this title is trying to shoot for. As soon as the monsters they get close to you, the background music it completely stops, switching to the gurgling sound of the monster as it rushes towards you, making your heart sink. The visuals were absolutely stunning on the PSP when this title came out back in the day. But today you are definitely gonna have to forgive this title a bit in terms of graphics. And if you manage to do that, you're gonna have an amazing time in this title. It's totally worth your time. As I mentioned earlier, this title features multiple endings, which means it offers an amazing replay value as you unlock a lot of cool stuff that way. And the third ending, which is the funny one involving aliens, unlocks the Tesla rifle, which makes this title a cakewalk actually. And after unlocking this one, I just went out of my way in order to take down monsters who had been terrorizing me for so long. And I just had my revenge on them, which was really cool. This Tesla rifle actually has infinite ammo, which was really outstanding for the kind of stuff that I wanted to do with it. And then there is a decent amount of other weapons that you can unlock by replaying this title, and all those weapons that you unlock this particular way, they are never gonna break on you, so you're gonna have them forever. And then there is a decent amount of costumes that you can unlock by replaying the title, like a SWAT officer's uniform or a military uniform and stuff like that. And then you're gonna be able to get your hands on the butcher's cleaver or knife, whatever it is, which was really insane. It's an amazing, super atmospheric horror survival title which is always gonna keep you on the edge. With extremely limited ammo, breakable weapons, limited health supplies like health kits and tonics, you are always gonna be trying to avoid contact with the monsters, on your first playthrough at least, and you're gonna be having a real tense time as well. If you don't end up conserving your ammo, you're gonna regret really big time when the boss fights come up. This title does an amazing job of making you feel vulnerable at all times, which was an amazing feat to be made possible on the PSP right in the palm of your hands. So yeah, this title is totally worth checking out if you own a PSP and somehow gave it a pass. And if you are into PSP emulation and are looking for a good horror title, this game also had a PS2 port, but this version was actually the better one. So yeah, that was pretty much it. If you like PSP games, you should definitely check out the video I made on the highly underrated PSP title Gladiator Begins. Thank you very much for watching, and peace out.